In this lesson, we're going to learn how to apply the product of powers property. Basically, we're going to be multiplying exponents. So what is an exponent? A number that is expressed using an exponent is called a power. The base is the number that is multiplied, and the exponent tells how many times the base is used as a factor. So we have this exponent here. We've got a base that is 5, and our exponent is 3. So what we've learned in the past is that when you've got this base of 5 and the exponent of 3, it means that you have a 5 that is multiplying 3 times. Now, don't get that confused with 5 times 3. That's not the same thing. It's that 5 is being multiplied 3 times. So 5 times 5 is 25, and then 25 times 5 is 125. And up until now, we have just been simply simplifying exponents and then using them in expressions. But today we're actually going to be then multiplying exponents. All right, how do I apply the product of powers property? All right, so we've got this property, the product of powers property, which means that we're going to be multiplying the exponents. What it means is that we're going to multiply the powers having the same base, and we're going to then add the exponents. That's the really important part here, is that we're going to add these exponents together. So in algebra terms, what it means is that you have a to the m power times a to the nth power. You would have a to the m plus n powers. All right, let's take a look at what that looks like with our example here. We have 5 squared times 5 to the third. What that means is that we're going to add those exponents together. So you'd have 5 to the 2 plus 3 power. So if you've got 5 squared, what that means is that you've got actually 2 5s that are multiplied together. And if you have 5 to the third, it means that you have 3 5s that are multiplied together. And basically what we're doing is we're combining them all together as one exponent. So we have then a total here of 5 5s. So the answer to this one would be 5 to the 5th, and certainly you could then expand this out by taking 5 to the 5th power and having that as a number without the exponent. All right, so let's try some examples. So find the product, write your answers using exponents. So we have x to the third times x to the second. So what that looks like is you have x times x times x, that represents the x to the third, and then you've got the x times x, and that represents the x squared. And then when you put them all together, we add up our exponents, and so we have a total then of 5 x's. And the same thing would go then when you, for example, number 2 here, where you have 2 to the third power times 2 to the third power. What that looks like is that you've got 3 2's, and then you've got another 3 2's, and we end up adding 3 plus 3, and you'll have 2 then to the 6th power. All right, for number 3, we have x to the 5th power times x. Now, remember, there is an exponent here. Even if there's not one listed, there is one here, and it is a 1. It represents a 1 exponent. So basically what we have is we have 5 x's, and we're combining it with one more x, giving us then x to the 6th power. So in all of these cases, we have the same base, and we simply, when we're multiplying these exponents together, we're adding the exponents. All right, question number 4. We have 3 to the third power times 3 to the fourth power times 3. Well, I'm going to put a 1 here, otherwise I know that I'll probably forget it. So if I take, I've got 3x, we have 3 3's combined with 4 more 3's. Well, that gives us 7 3's, and then we have one more. Simply, we are adding these exponents together, giving us then 3 to the 8th power. Now, for question number 5, notice that we have 10 times x to the 8th power times 2 times x to the second power. Now, when you're given numbers that are with your variables here, you need to multiply those together just like you've always multiplied. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take my 10 times 2, and 10 times 2 is 20, and now I'm going to put my exponents together, these x to the 8th times x squared, meaning I have 8 x's combined with 2 x's. And so your final answer here then would be x to the 10th power. Now, for question number 6, notice how I've got numbers and I've got several variables in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 1 here so that I know that I need to multiply that by something. And remember, if a variable does not have a number with it, there's always going to be a 1. So I'm going to start by multiplying 8 times 1, and I'll get 8. Now, notice now I need to take a look at the A's next. And I'm going to put a 1 right here. And I suggest you guys do the same thing. If you don't have exponents there, put a 1 so that you know that you need to then add in that 1 there. So now I'm going to multiply my A's times my A's. So I have 1A combined with 2 A's. So I have 3 A's. I'm going to combine my B's. So I have 5 B's combined with 1 more B. We're going to have B then to the 6th. And notice that I don't have anything else to put with that C to the first power. There's not a C on the first term there. So I'm just going to put a C, and you can certainly have C to the first power. It is not going to be incorrect if you do that. All right, question number 7. We have negative 3x to the 4th times 2x squared. All right, again, let's take our negative 3 times 2, and you're just multiplying those together. Don't get this confused with addition. I know a lot of times when we're now adding these exponents together, we all of a sudden then we start to add our numbers together. It's not that. This is a multiplication problem. And so you're going to multiply those first terms there together. And negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. And now we're going to take the x to the 4th times x to the x squared. And again, it's like you're having 4 of these x's that are combined with 2 more x's. You're putting them all together, and we have a total of 6 x's. All right, question number 8. All right, so this is just the same as we've been doing, except for we just have parentheses instead of the multiplication dot there. So we're going to multiply negative 4 times 5, and we'll get negative 20. And you're going to take x to the 3rd times x to the 1st, and you'll get x to the 4th. And again, now you're going to put your y's together by adding together those exponents, so you'll get y to the 8th power. Okay, now what I would like for you to do is I would like for you to pause the video, do number 9, and once you've done number 9, then resume the video and let's check your work. All right, so let's take a look here. For number 9, we multiplied the negative 4 times 3, getting negative 12. And we had x to the 3rd times x to the 4th, giving us x to the 7th. And then notice we didn't have anything to multiply with the y squared, so we're just going to put the y squared. All right, in our last example, we're going to then be finding the area of the figure and applying what we know about these exponent properties. So let's remember in the past that you have learned that The area of a rectangle is formed by taking the base times the height, or you could call it the length times the width. Either one is just fine. Basically, what you're doing is you're multiplying the two sides together. So in this case, then we're going to then take our 3x to the fourth y, and we're going to multiply 5x to the fifth y squared, because anytime you have a formula, you plug in what you know, and then we're going to solve for what we don't. So we're looking for the area. So we'll start by taking 3 times 5, and you'll get 15. And then let's take our x's, x to the fourth times x to the fifth. And again, remember, we're multiplying those by adding together the exponents. So you should have x to the ninth, and then our y squared times y to the first power would give us y to the third power. All right, so I'd like for you to pause the video one more time, and then let's find the area of number 2, and then when we're done, resume it, and then we can check your answer. All right, so hopefully you took 4 times 6, and you didn't get 10, you got 24 because you're multiplying that. And then x to the third times x to the third, we get x to the sixth because we just added those together. And then take y to the first times y to the second, and you should get then y to the third. So in this lesson, we took a look at how to multiply exponents.